Hilde Dosogne is a Belgian ultrarunner who started running at the age of 41 and quickly evolved into a world-class endurance athlete. Hilde rose to prominence in the running world by completing the Spartathlon, a historic 246-kilometer race held every year in Greece. Hilde is the only Belgian woman to have completed that race twice, and she holds the course record. Hilde was also the Belgian 100-kilometer champion in 2023. She has conquered extreme ultra challenges like the Marathon des Sables, a grueling 7-day, 250-kilometer or 155-mile race held annually in the Sahara Desert in southern Morocco. That race is often referred to as the toughest foot race on Earth. As if those accomplishments weren't enough, in 2024, Hilde set an extraordinary Guinness World Record by running 366 consecutive marathons, or a marathon a day, for every day of the leap year. She crushed the previous record of 150 consecutive marathons and raised close to $90,000 in support of breast cancer research. Hilde is a dedicated athlete and an inspiration to many. She continues to push the limits of human endurance, and it's an honor to have her on the show. Welcome, Hilde, and thanks for joining us on Life Excellence.
Thanks for the very nice introduction, Brian, and I'm very happy to be on your podcast.
Well, I'm happy to have you. Hilde, you're a bioengineer by trade. You're married yes. And the mother of 4 children. It seems like life was going pretty well, and then you decided at the age of 41 that you were going to become a runner. What prompted you to take up running?
Well, at first I was more dedicated to having a career and building my family. But then at the age of 40, I realized I had sacrificed my life to my family. And then I decided that I had to do something for myself and also to become fit again, because I gained some weight. So that's why me and my husband, we decided to start running. But at the beginning, I said I want to start running, but I don't want to do any races. But then after all, I did my first race and my first marathon, and I liked it so much that I wanted more and more of that. And I also discovered that I was quite competitive, and I enjoyed being able to keep pushing my limits and to being successful at that. Of course, I was very careful in choosing my challenges and gradually building it up. Because I've been injured at the beginning, and then I was more careful. But I realized if I make realistic goals, I can gradually keep pushing my limits, and it gives a lot of self-confidence when you see that you can realize your goals. That's why I enjoyed running so much. And it's not only the physical aspect, but also the social aspect, because when you join a running club, you meet a lot of new people. And the new friends that I have now, mostly they are also runners. So it's like a community. And even in the group of ultra running, we've become all like kind of friends. So that's also what I like so much about running.
You mentioned in the beginning, when you first started running, that you didn't want to run in any races. How long after you started running did you compete in your first marathon?
That was 2 years later. So I started running in 2011, and my first marathon was in 2013. Yeah.
So it didn't take long?
Not very long, no. But I had always been running a little bit, so I didn't start from scratch. But the running more than one time per week started in 2011.
Mm-hmm. So full disclosure, Hilde, I completed one marathon many years ago, and that's when I learned that I'm a half marathoner, not a marathoner.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
But my daughter and son-in-law are both ultra marathoners, and so I've seen firsthand how quickly one can evolve from shorter distances to a marathon and then eventually to ultras. What qualities separate elite runners from other runners? And in other words, what does it take to compete effectively at such a high level like you have, as opposed to being a recreational runner?
I think it requires a lot of dedication because you need a lot of training. It's not just the race that you do, because that's just the top of the iceberg. Because it takes a lot of training and dedication, but you also have to be passionate about the running, because otherwise it doesn't work. If you see the trainings as an effort, then it's not going to work. You have to just enjoy the running a lot, and there's a lot of people who just run to keep themselves fit, and I have all the respect for them, because it's still much better than people that are watching TV every evening. But some people have that. Sometimes it's also just that they enjoy the nature. The most ultra runners are like trail runners, and they enjoy being in the nature, and I think it gives a lot of satisfaction when you can achieve your goals. But you have to have this ability to stand the pain sometimes and the fatigue, and you have to have quite a high pain threshold level, because you know it's going to hurt, but you have to be able to deal with that.
I've always felt like some people are built for running long distances, for ultra marathons, but not everybody is. Would you agree with that, or do you think that anybody can become a long distance runner, an ultra marathoner, by just building up time, building up distance?
I think anybody can do it, as long as they are willing to train for it, and to eat healthy as well. And I think it's even age doesn't matter, because if you look at me, I'm already 55, so I started only at 41, so I'm not young anymore, and I'm still improving. So saying that you're too old is not an excuse. If you think you're overweighted, you have maybe a longer way to go, but then you can start with maybe walking or cycling, and first losing some weight. But it's not it's a goal that you can still achieve if you're dreaming about something. I'm always telling people you should just go for it if that's your dream to do that. I think anybody can do it, but it requires, of course, a lot of dedication to achieve your goal.
And a high pain tolerance, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate the mindset and the encouragement that just get out there and start. That's the hardest thing for people, I think, a lot of the time, is just they're thinking about this goal. Maybe it's a marathon, or maybe it's even a 10K or a 5K. But if they're on the couch watching television, overweight, out of shape, then it's hard to see that future. So I love what you said. Just get out there and start, whether it's starting by a walk, starting by with a short run, or whatever it is. Just get out there and do it. We can make a lot of excuses on why we can't do something. And by the way, now we're not just talking about running, right? We're talking about life and goals and excuses that we make and obstacles that we have, and overcoming those.
Yeah, like for example, today I wasn't feeling very well. I had some stomach and gut problems since I was in Spain, and it's still not over today, but I have to do 2 trainings of 20 kilometers. So I'm not feeling very well, but I know it's a good training if I still go out there to do my trainings. So even if I don't feel good, I still do it. it requires a lot of discipline.
And I appreciate you coming on the show, not feeling well too. Hilde, I mentioned in your introduction that you completed the Spartathlon in Greece twice in 2022 and 2023. And you also completed the Marathon des Sables, a 7-mile race in the Sahara Desert in southern Morocco. What did you learn about yourself and about the limits of human potential from those races? Because they had to have been incredibly challenging.
Yeah, I learned that, also there I wasn't feeling well because you have to sleep in open tents with 8 persons. And sometimes there was a sandstorm overnight. So all my sleeping bag was full of sand. So I almost didn't sleep the whole week. And even if I was like very tired in the morning, I still did complete the race every day. And a technique that you can use is to divide it in small parts. So you have these checkpoints, and for each stage, there was like every 10 kilometers a checkpoint. And you just say to yourself, okay, I will go to the first checkpoint and then I will see. And just every time you think, I'm not going to give up. And that's also how I did it last year. So every day I was telling myself, I'm not going to give up today. And that's how I made it. So just look at it, with small steps. And then, if you have to climb a mountain and you just, maybe look at your feet and take some steps. And then if you're 10 steps further, you look behind yourself and you're surprised how far you got already. So, just take it step by step. That's the lesson. Yeah, well, it's not easy, but if you just go for it and don't think about it too much. Just take it day by day or step by step, and then you will get there.
Completing those races were amazing accomplishments, Hilde, and yet
Thanks.
you would undertake a challenge in 2024 last year that makes the others pale by comparison, I think, running a marathon every day for the entire year. Where did the idea originate to run 366 consecutive marathons, one day for each day of the leap year?
Well, there have been people who did the same, and I had been looking at that world record for several years. And first it was at 100 marathons. But by the time that I decided to do it, it was already improved up to 150 marathons by Urkana Murray Bartlett. But I thought it was still doable for me to break that record. So I was following these people on social media, and I thought, if I want to do something big, then maybe that's the thing to do for me. So I was thinking, I think I can do it. But I have to say that I really underestimated it, what it was like to run a marathon every day, because it wasn't just the running for 4 hours, but also like 2 hours before I already had to start prepare for it, because I wasn't running in my hometown. I was running in Ghent. So I had to go there by car. I had to make my preparations. And then, of course, after the marathon, I had to collect witness statements and then go back home. So, that was then already 1 hour later that I arrived home. And then when I got home, I had the administration to do, because I had to take photos and videos during the marathons as an evidence for the official record. So when I got home, I had to download all the photos on my computer and do social media posts and so on. So it was a lot of extra work. And I was also still working part-time last year. So yeah, it was really hard.
It's amazing to me that you would work in the morning, and then, as you said, you'd have to leave 2 hours before you started the run, and then you would run for about 4 hours and everything else that went into it. But even the advanced planning had to have been an incredible undertaking. When did that planning start? When did you decide that you were going to start on January 1st, 2024? And what was required in that planning just even before you started?
Yeah, we were looking for sponsors for my sports nutrition and for my clothing and shoes. And then also, preparing the event, because I was running in Ghent at usually at the same location. So we had an accommodation there for other people who wanted to run with me. But yeah, I started the preparation, I think it was in July, August. What else? We had to announce it to Guinness World Record that I was going to do that. So there was the application, and then finding the sponsors for the event.
There's a lot of work that went into that. Hilde, I'm curious, what was your mindset like? So you started planning in the summer before, and you're gearing up for it, probably training from a running standpoint, from a physical standpoint, but also getting everything in place to start on January 1st. What was your mindset like at the end of 2023 as you were approaching the start of what would be an entire year of running a marathon a day?
Well, it involved some preparations at work, because I was at work leading a team of 6 people. So then we changed that to make sure. So we hired another person to take over my job. And I got a new function, which is more scientific work now, rather than leading the team. So because I couldn't do that when I was working part-time, so there was a preparation at work. And then at home, or the training, I didn't really train for the marathons, because I was still running the Sportathlon that year in beginning of October. So I rather reduced my training to make sure that I wasn't really tired when I started the marathons. Usually I would still run a 100-mile race in December, but I didn't do that because that was too close to the starting of the marathons. So I didn't really train for it. What I did was running every day to get used to the idea of running every day a marathon. But I was already used to running a lot, so I didn't expect too many problems with that.
I was thinking about it and wondering, it sounds like this wasn't the case, but were any of the marathons organized races?
Yes. I did run a few races. Most of the city marathons in Belgium, and I also ran the Marathon of Berlin, and one in the Netherlands. And then I also went to Spain last year for about 8 or 9 days. But that was also always very stressful because I had to make sure that when you're traveling, when you take a flight, and you have to make sure that your flight isn't delayed, otherwise it could be possible that you're not able to run the marathon that day. So I was always very stressed when I had to travel, so I limited that. But it all went well. But for example, when we went to Spain, we went there by car, so I had to run a marathon in France once because that was on the way. But then after running the marathon, just I had to get back in the car. I couldn't shower, so that wasn't very comfortable. And yeah, and when I took the plane back from Berlin to home, I got sick. So yeah, then Berlin was, I think, in September. So after Berlin, I decided not to travel anymore, because when I got sick, it always took a long time for me to recover, because I couldn't rest, of course. So it took me longer to recover from disease.
That's interesting, because I was thinking that participating in organized races would be a nice way to mix it up, to change the.
Yeah, it was always nice to have a race in between, because you're not running alone then. Because when I was running on weekdays, there was usually not a lot of people running with me, and of course the atmosphere is very nice on races. It's different when you're running alone.
Sure. I was going to ask you about people running with you, just other than the organized races. Was that something that was organized by your team, or did people simply come out and start running? And some people would run 10K, some people would run half marathons. Maybe for a particular day, some people would run the full marathon with you. What was that like?
Well, usually on the weekends, I always had people running full marathon with me. But on weekdays also sometimes, but mostly not. They were running like 5 or 10 kilometers with me. And I was running loops of 5 kilometers. So I always published the time and the place where I was running. So people knew they could jump in every half hour when I was passing by the starting point again. So they would run, like 5, 10, or 20 kilometers with me.
So a 5K loop, that's a lot of loops. Were you running that same course every day, other than the organized races?
Yes. Beginning of the year, I was always running in Ghent around water course, and that's a 5 kilometers loop. And then I did an extra loop of 2.5 kilometers. But then in August, I got corona, so then I decided to run from home, until I got better. But after that, I decided also to run 2 days per week at home, because it was better for me. I could sleep more. And then the other days I was still running in Ghent, and also on the weekends.
It seems incredibly monotonous to not just run one marathon once in 5-mile loops or shorter loops like that, but to do that continuously. How did you get over the monotony? Did that bother you at all?
Well, it was just practical, because if I would be running one big loop, then I would have to take all my food and drink with me. So the 5 kilometer loops were practical, because I could take my food every half hour. Especially in the summer when I had to drink more, and if you have to carry all the water with you, then it's a lot of weight. So that was just practical, and indeed it was monotonous, but also the fact of running a marathon every day is also monotonous. But fortunately I was always, when people were running with me, then I was talking with them, and they would tell me their life stories, and then it makes the time go by faster. And when there was nobody running with me, then I would listen to music or podcasts.
Mm-hmm. This is a random question, but how many pairs of shoes did you go through in 2020?
It's a frequently asked question. So I was using 2 pairs per month, and I was always changing shoes, so never running on the same shoes 2 days in a row. So for 1 month, I would use 2 pairs, so alternating the pairs every day.
And you mentioned in the beginning of the show that you were looking for sponsors. Did you have a sponsor for the shoes, or?
Yes, Hoka. I don't know if you know the brand, Hoka. Yeah. I've been running with Hoka for several years without any injuries. So yeah, I really like the brand a lot. Yeah, and they sponsored, fortunately. Yeah.
That is fortunate. Hilde, I asked you earlier about your mindset at the start of the year. Over the course of 366 days of running, a lot can happen, obviously, both mentally and physically. How quickly did you begin to encounter adversity, and what forms did that take?
Yeah, even on the second day, it was because the 1st of January, it was a big party and all the press was there. So yeah, that was fun. But then the day after, 2nd January, it was raining and I was driving to Ghent, and then I just realized, oh my God, did I really have to decide to do this every day of this year? But then, yeah, in the beginning, I told myself, yeah, I can't stop now in the beginning because, yeah, it's gonna be embarrassing if you already stop after 2 or 3 marathons. So I couldn't really do that. And then I was just telling myself, okay, let's just go for 1 month and then see. And then when the first month is over, then you start thinking, okay, I will go on until end of February. That was the 29th, the leap day. So that was also a special event. And then, yeah, you just make these little milestones. The next milestone was 100 marathons. And then, I started thinking about breaking the official record. That was the first, important milestone that I wanted to achieve, at least that. But after that, of course, before I started, I already announced that I would run every day of the whole year. And it had also been in the newspapers and in the news. So it would be like giving up, even though I had already broken the official world record. The fact that I announced in advance that I would do that, it made me continue. But it got really hard, especially by the end of the year, like November, December. I was really tired of it, and I got more and more pain in my feet. I got Achilles tendon pain. So yeah, it was really building up, but then the last week I got a hamstring injury. But then, they were preparing the event of the 31st of December, so I also didn't want to stop then. But the last week was really hard. I had to, on Christmas, I had to call my husband to bring a spray to relieve the pain in my hamstring, because otherwise I don't think I would have finished that marathon. So I just continued until the last day with pain. So it really had to be ended.
Was it harder physically or mentally? You talked about some of the physical challenges that you had, especially toward the end of the year, but I'm sure mentally it was challenging as well.
Yeah, I
Which
think
was more difficult?
the mental part was harder because I was really tired of it. The last half of the year. I had some physical issues, but not really injuries, except for the last week then. But I think the mental part is harder.
Well, and even if you don't have injuries, the physical part is so demanding. The level of perseverance required to endure just running a marathon every day for 366 days is astounding. How do you stay mentally focused and motivated through the intense physical demands of so much running?
Mm-hmm. Well, it helped a lot that I did this for charity. So I did this for breast cancer research, and I motivated also myself by telling me that these people with breast cancer have to fight against their disease every day, and it's not just for 1 year that they have to do that, but until they are cured, or in some cases with a bad prognosis, until they are deceased even. Because my neighbor last year, she died from breast cancer, and I was doing this also for them, so that helped me to continue also.
What's your connection to breast cancer that caused Breast International Group, BIG, to be the recipient of your fundraising efforts?
Well, I know somebody who works there. She was a volunteer at Marathon des Sables, and her friend had metastatic breast cancer. So she asked me to collect funds for them, and I said yes. And I wrote a small book about my participation in Marathon des Sables, and I sold that in profit of Big Against Breast Cancer. And now also with the year of marathons, I wanted to support them. I wanted to do a big stunt to help them. And I collected 75,000 euros. So they can use that money to support a certain study on breast cancer with metastasis in the brain. That particular type of breast cancer is very difficult to treat because the medication is hard to reach the brain because of the blood-brain barrier. And the study can help the victims of that type of breast cancer.
Well, it's admirable that you would choose breast cancer research as the recipient for fundraising, and that you would use that opportunity to raise money for breast cancer research. So I really applaud you for that. Hilde, I wonder, was stopping even a remote possibility at any time during the year? Did you ever think, you know what, I've had enough, I can't do this? I know you talked about day 2 and already you were thinking, geez, what have I gotten myself into? But through the year, was there ever a point where just because of physical demands or mental exhaustion, or maybe just a momentary mental lapse where you thought, you know what, I can't do this, I'm just going to stop?
Yeah, before I started, I told myself the only valid reason for me to stop is if I have a serious injury. And fortunately, that didn't happen, but I did have several minor injuries. So I told you already I had corona. And then one day, after 27 kilometers, I fell and my finger was dislocated. So at that point, I thought I had to give up because I thought it was broken. So I called my husband and he brought me to the emergency room. But they just put my finger straight again. And also my knee was hurt badly. So, but there was still time. And my husband told me, maybe you should just restart. Sometimes people tell me you could just have done the remaining kilometers, but I had been away for about 2 hours to the hospital and to come back. So the rules are that you can't take a break longer than 5 minutes. So I had to restart, and that day I started in the evening at 6:30. So I could still finish the marathon in time. But in total, I ran about 70 kilometers that day. So I was really determined not to give up. And I was always thinking how bad I would feel if I give up. And usually that was enough for me to continue.
You are so disciplined. I know that about you, and so determined. Where does the resilience come from when things aren't going as well as you'd like? And how do you tap into the mental toughness needed to push through those times when you're just not sure you can make it, or when you have to? When you said you ran 27 kilometers before you had to go to the hospital,
Yeah.
or to even do a marathon and a half rather than a marathon in a particular day. Where does that persistence and that resilience come from?
I don't know. I think it's just something that I have in me. Maybe it's also because I want to show that I'm strong. And that comes from the time when I was a teenager. I was bullied at school. And at home, they were telling me I was weak. And I still want to prove that I'm not weak and I'm strong and I don't want to give up. So, yeah, it's something, maybe a trauma from my youth that I'm still fighting against.
Share, if you would, and this is related to what we were just talking about, your thoughts on the limits of human potential and what you've learned about your own potential after completing 2 Spartathlons, the Marathon des Sables, and from setting the Guinness World Record for consecutive marathons.
I think that humans are only using part of their potential, and they are capable of doing much more than they think they can. You just have to believe in yourself and know that when things aren't feeling good, or when you think you can't anymore, you still can. So yeah, it's strange. You have to believe that you're that it's going to get better, even if you're not feeling well now. Maybe later there's a chance that it will be better, and it's always been like that. In last year, yeah, there were days that I was really feeling very sick, but in that moment, it's not good to then decide to give up. You just have to believe that things will get better. That when you're at your lowest point, and you think you can't get any worse, then you know it will get better, and it did. So
What are the most important lessons? And you just mentioned one of them, but what are other important life lessons maybe that you would want your 4 children to take away from seeing what you've accomplished, and that we can all take away from your amazing career in life?
yeah, I think the thing that I said about the mountain is that when you take it just step by step, and you will get there. Don't look up too high, but just look at your every step that you take, and with small steps you will get there. You can reach a big goal if you break it in smaller parts.
That's really such a powerful lesson. There's a saying, or it's a question: how do you eat an elephant? And
Yes. Or
you've
yeah.
heard that one bite at a time. And it's a very simple concept, isn't it? But it's so powerful when we're talking about goal achievement, because again, if somebody is a novice runner and they think, oh, I'd like to run a 10K or a half marathon or a marathon, that seems like a huge goal for someone. But if you just break it down, and you've said it in a few different ways, breaking down your goals, just get to the next checkpoint, just get to the
Yeah.
next, literally take the next step, right? When you're running. And as long as you're moving forward, then you'll complete whatever race it is that you're running. When you stop, then you're done. But as long as you're moving forward, whether you're walking, jogging, sprinting, whatever it is, as long as you're moving forward and toward in a race, a literal race or a metaphorical race, if we're trying to accomplish any goal, if we just break it down step by step, then we can accomplish that goal.
Exactly.
Hilde, as you know, our show is called Life Excellence, and I wonder, what does excellence mean to you?
Well, I don't think it should be a goal by itself, but I think if you do what you do with passion, then you will become excellent. I haven't done this to achieve a lot of attention from the press or to be successful. Just because I was passionate about running and achieving my goals, that then you will become successful. But excellent, I think if you're dedicated, then you will become excellent. I don't know.
It's very true. Hilde, you more than doubled the previous Guinness World Record for consecutive marathons run by a woman. You mentioned that it was, when you first started thinking about breaking the record, it was 100, and then somebody else ran 150, and you not only broke the record, you crushed it by more than doubling the previous record. What does that accomplishment mean to you? And what impact do you hope it has on others who strive to push their own limits?
Well, what it means to me, I think it's the highest thing that I can and will achieve in this life. It's not going to get more crazy than this. And I was thinking about it a long time, and I'm very happy that I achieved it now. I still sometimes wonder how I did it. Because it was a very long year. To inspire other people, I think I actually did do that, because I had last year a lot of people who came running with me, and they were telling me that they were also dreaming of the races that I did, and I gave them some tips. So I think I did inspire other people, even just starting to run or running half marathon. So I'm very happy that this happened. Because one of the goals that I had was also to inspire other people to start running, because I wanted to share the experience that I have with running. It helped me a lot, feeling better physically and mentally. So that's what I wanted to do to other people, and to help them, maybe also to improve their life quality.
Well, you certainly inspired us today, Hilde. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's wonderful to meet and get to know you. And you've certainly inspired me and many others to redefine impossible in our own lives, just as you've done in yours.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Ryan.
It's been great to have you.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to Life Excellence. Please support the show by subscribing, sharing it with others, posting about today's show with ultrarunner Hilde Dosogne on social media, and leaving a rating and review. You can also learn more about me at brianbartes.com. Until next time, dream big dreams and make each day your masterpiece.